14, number 4. V'hinei. So now the Rebbe continues, and he says, the fact that the unity of the higher and the lower worlds are included in the higher worlds, which are beyond creation. So we have the concept of there's 3 levels. There's the concept of, as I said before, the concept of the aspect of where the Eibusha comes in the world, the concept of the ways of God is Soiviv Kalam, and then there is Kula Kalamei Klachshiv, the concept where God is above the narrator, as we mentioned. There is the concept of the way that is higher, and in that level, everything, the higher and the lower, are equal. So once the Eibusha comes down in Kav, and then you have the Tzimtzum, you have the Kav, even that Kav that comes from even from a Mailam, not Tzimtzum, and higher for the level of contraction. In that level, you have Mailam Lamata. Before Tzimtzum, you have already the Mailam Lamata. You have the above and the below all mixed together. And that's why you can have a concept of above and below. If it wasn't that before there is within the Mailam, the Mata, you wouldn't. You have expression, different expression. You have expression. Not Tchlasan B'Seifam. The beginning is rooted in the end. The beginning is rooted in the end. Why? Because the beginning has the end. So that's why, like in simple Chassidus, Keser is rooted in Malchus. And Malchus goes back to Keser. Why? Not Seifim. The beginning is rooted in the end. In the beginning, you have already the end. Why? Because in the beginning, you have already the purpose of the end. The purpose is the end. So in the beginning is already rooted the Kant Tachtenim, Dira Betachtenim, that you had already in the higher, the Mata. You had it in the higher level, the lower level. So that applies both to the service of the Jew, which happens after the giving of the Torah. The lower worlds ascends to the higher worlds, and to the revelation of godliness which took place at the time of the giving of the Torah. That the higher worlds ascended to the lower worlds. So the Eibusha need to break the Gezeda. And you say you had to break a Gezeda. The Medrash says that there was a decree that the higher can go to the lower, and the lower can go to the higher. What does that mean? In simple terms, when you say that God had to break a decree, that means that before he broke the decree, so there was a concept of higher and lower, but in that already was a possibility of them to come together. But there was a decree that they can't go. So if you have 2 cities, a simple Medrash, the Medrash says, looks like a king said that this city cannot go down to this city. That means before the king made a decree, they could have gone down to each other. But there was a decree that they can't. So now when the king takes away the decree, so now they can come down together. It means that to begin with they could have come down together, but there was a decree. So too, when the Eibusha created the world, in the essence, in the beginning, there was the unity of the world. Then God separated. That's you have action creation itself. In the first day of creation, everything was one. Yom Echad. The second day of creation, God divided. Separation. And then the third day of creation, He brought it back together. That's why the third day of creation is Tiferes, Pamayim Kitov. Because you had unity in the first day, you had the separation in the second day, and you had in the third day unity. The Eibusha did the same thing in creation of man and woman. In the beginning, He created them as one. He then separated them, and then asked them to come together. Why would He do that for? Why don't you keep them together? Or separate them and keep them separate? No, the Eibusha wanted actually that there would be the aspect of unity, and He would then separate them, and then He would ask them that they should come together, not that He would bring them together, they would come together. A man and woman would search themselves for 20, 30 years, whatever how long it would take, and they'll ultimately come together. But the truth is, they would never be able to come together if there was never unity before. They would never be able to come together. That there was unity before, that's what we call that Pashet. That there was unity before, that means the Shamayim above you united with your soul of your partner. That's why Lamata, you can come together. Right? So there was unity before. Correct? That's why Jews, there's no such thing in, by Goyim they say, but none with the world they say, in death do you part. By Jews you never depart. Forget it. You're stuck forever. In life, after life, it's never ending. Forget it. It happened, started before. It continues in life. And when the person goes on, it continues. That's it. And then when you come to Gan Eden, you're back. If you're back together. Finished. So on Arizal yesterday, it says that neshamas of Gedim come from the neshamas of tzaddikim that come together for relationship in Lamaila. The Eibishter brings the neshamas of tzaddikim to be together with their spouses, with the neshamas of the spouses that they were in this world, and through their relationship, whatever that means, don't ask me too many questions, whatever that means, they create neshamas of Gedim. And that's the special neshamas that come down to the world.
This neshama of Gedim you're saying that came out
of this relationship Lamaila.
Out of a Jewish person.
A relationship Lamaila, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But whatever that means, if they have relationship, I don't know what that means. But
that's what
that means, whatever the Rizal means, he talks, he says that.
But when you say Gerim is somebody who converted.
Right. But it was always had a neshama.
So up there, it wasn't a Jew before he converted?
It went through a harder journey. I can say, the Gemara says, the Torah says, Ger shenis gayer. A convert that will convert. It doesn't say a goy will convert. Because a goy cannot convert. It says a ger shenis gayer, a convert. That means he was always a convert. That means his neshama was always there. It just had to come out in a different kind of a process. But it was a goy cannot become a yid cannot become a goy. This non-Jew officially had a ger. He always had a neshama. It was just revealed in a different process. Like in a neshama of a yid also revealed in a certain process.
It could be that the neshama was Jewish, but it never came out as Jewish.
Right, basically.
But now, since the tzaddik
revealed
that maybe that come out became.
I don't. Everything is again, these are holy words. I don't know what it means exactly. If somebody knows what it means, but these are Kabbalistic concepts. It's above my pay grade. But whatever. That's what he says. I take it face value. So that's the beauty. The beauty is that everything in essence, the Eibishter gives you potential. It's already there already. It's already there. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything is there already. It's the concept of either you tap into it or not. So the Rabbi says we know that the revelation at time of the giving of the Torah was from the level beyond time and space. It was such a revelation that it was not a revelation within time and space. The Eibishter, in essence, is a revelation of Matan Torah. The Eibishter, God, gave the Jewish people the Torah, which is above time and space. It was created, the Gemara says, in expression 2,000 years before the creation of the world, the Torah was written. What does that mean? 2,000. There's no years before the creation of the world. So how can you say 2,000 years before the creation of the world? There's no years. Before the creation of the world, there's no time and space. So in essence, the Torah wants to say, the Gemara wants to say that the Torah is above time and space in 2,000 levels. That's what the Chassidus says. 2,000 years means 2,000 levels. That there are 2,000 levels which the Torah is above time and space in the physical time and space. So in the Torah you have the concept that's above time and space, and the Eibishter gave a person, brought down the Torah. In essence, gave the person the capability to touch something that's above time and space. And as the Rebbe is going to prove it. The fact that the Torah is beyond the time and space can be seen in the statement of the Gemara. The Rev is involved in learning the carbon oila. As I said, in Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch says that today you cannot bring a carbon oila, right? There's no Beis HaMikdash. How do you bring a carbon oila? You learn a carbon oila. You learn the Torah of carbon oila is as if you bought a carbon oila. Now, how is that possible? I'm learning the Torah, and it's as if I bought a carbon oil. That doesn't make sense. A carbon oil is an animal. It's a physical animal. And you need a physical Beis HaMikdash. You need a physical kohen. You need a physical Levi. You need the physical building. So how does the Torah say you're going to learn carbon oil? It's as if you brought a carbon oil. Because why? Because that's the power of the Torah. That is the power of learning Torah. Torah lifts you above time and space. So in essence, when you're learning Kabbalah, in essence is happening the Kabbalah. Is happening the Kabbalah. How is that possible? Lamaila is happening. It's above time and space. It's happening Kabbalah. When you read the Korban Chatas in the Torah, is happening the Korban Chatas right now. Why? Because the Torah is above time and space. Torah is min hashamayim, and even though the Torah is written on cloth and it's in a book and you're learning it in a paper, it's the same time that you're learning it in the paper. It's lamayla mezman hamakom. It's above the concept of time and space.
What's the point of bringing Korban now?
Oh, that's a good question. So why do you need the Beis Hamikdash? That would be the good question. Why do you need the Beis Hamikdash? Because again, the point of the Beis Hamikdash is Gilui Lakus. Gilui, to see it. So Gilui, right now it's in Seichel. There's no Gilui Lakus. When you brought the Korban physically, you saw the connection. You saw you actually saw the Kitar Ocean go straight to the Shamayim. It was a revelation. Today, it's in your Ruchni. I cannot see it. And I am looking for Gilui Lakus. I'm looking for Gilui. And that's Mashiach. I don't need to Beis Hamikdash for another building. I don't need to carbon. The Abba says, I need the carbon. I need the relationship. I need the connection. The carbon showed the connection between a Yid and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's what we need. So you're right. Be'etzem, you bring a carbon Eila right now. You bring a carbon Chatas right now. But you don't have Gila in that carbon Chatas. It's Inyan Ruchni. It's a spiritual concept. And it's a concept of your Seichel. The statement applies even if he learns outside the Beis HaMedrash, which is not a place that the carbon Eila can be brought. Doesn't make a difference. You can learn the carbon Eila on the train station. You can learn it anywhere. You can read the Mishnah says, you can read the carbon Eila in your bedroom. You can read the carbon Eila anywhere. And the carbon Eila is brought. Al Pi Halacha, you can't do that at the Beis Hamikdash. In the Beis Hamikdash, you can't bring a carbon Eila in your house. You have to bring it to the Beis Hamikdash. So in essence, in a way, now you can accomplish the carbon Eila more than you can accomplish in the time of Beis Hamikdash. Right? Because in the Beis Hamikdash, you brought the carbon Eila out of the Beis Hamikdash, you're chayiv misa. You couldn't be a carbon Eila out of the Beis Hamikdash. Today, I can be the carbon Eila sitting in my comfort of my house. I'm going to sit and learn the carbon Eila, and I brought the carbon Eila. What could be better than that? It's actually a better, cheaper way. I don't have to pay even for the carbon Eila. I can always. So that's the I don't want to do the negative, but in the deficiency of the Beis Hamikdash, even the Beis Hamikdash, because in essence, once you have Gilui needs to come into a space. Now you can't. Once there's Gilui, now you only can do Gilui in a Kli. When we're talking about inyanim that are lamayla migilui, things that are above revelation, then there's no time and space. So in a way, today I can accomplish more. In a way, but the problem is that there's a lot of lack without this gilui lakus, and that's why I still want to give. I'm ready to take away this power because of the lack of gilui elakus in the world is affecting many things in the world. Not only that I can't bring not only that I don't see the carbon, it's affecting Jews are being lost and etc. And there's no gili, there's choshech, and there's negativity and etc. etc. So that I can bring a carbon oil, meanwhile there's so much choshech in the world, it's not worth it, in a way. I have to be bavata myself. You know, one hand I can say, what do I need to base me? I'm accomplishing more. Yes, I'm accomplishing more. What about the rest of the world? So that's why we still sheibana Beis Hamikdash, because we need gilui lakus. We need to get rid of choshech from the world.
But isn't the learning itself has some component of gilui too?
Yeah, but not a gilui that it can affects the world. It's not strong enough. This gilui, and ultimately we see it doesn't affect the world in a very powerful way. And we need to do that. We're looking for that because again, it's not only for the sake of my carbon; it's for the sake of the world. As the Rebbe once said, It's not only for the sake of the world, it's the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Eibishter wants to be Megala himself. And if we're not going to bring Mashiach, the Eibishter cannot be Megala himself. He's in Golus too. So the Eibishter is in Golus. So we have to think about God. That you're right, that you could accomplish something maybe more, but what about God? God's in Golus. Shchinta begalusa. The Eibishter is in Golus. So you got to think about the Eibishter, about God. Why are we allowing him to be in Golus? So you might be comfortable. You might be a comfortable Golus for you. You might feel holy and spiritual and godly, but meanwhile, the world is in Choshech and God is in Golus.
But God doesn't want to be in Galut, and He doesn't want us to be in Galut, so why can He bring the vitamins now?
Because He wants us to do it. He doesn't want him to do it. Yeah. He wants to wait his atzmei.
But Hashem knows it's very, very hard for us to bring it because not everybody wants
It's not
to
hard.
Get together and learn Torah and do things that bring vitamins.
Not everybody, it's me. The Rambam says, I can bring Mashiach. I don't have to worry about anybody else. I got to do it myself.
How are you going to bring Mashiach by yourself?
Do your way the right.
Okay,
Shem Shamayim. Must be I'm not doing it correct. Must be I need to do it better. Which is not a place where the carbon oil can be brought, or a time when the Beis Hamikdash is not standing, which is a time when it cannot be brought. From this we see that the Torah itself transcends the limit of time and space. That's the power of Torah in general. Learning Torah. That's why it says, and you're going to say in davening in a minute, you said it already, if you said brachas, Talmud Torah keneged kulam. There's nothing greater than the limit of Torah. A mitzvah, that's the difference between a mitzvah and Torah. A mitzvah comes into time. So therefore, like you put on tefillin, you have to put on tefillin a certain time. You can't say, I'm a holy guy, I'm going to put on tefillin at night. No. It has to be put on at a certain time. Every mitzvah you do has a certain time. But Torah, you learn Torah day and night. There's no time. There's no limit of time and space to the learning of Torah. It's unlimited. Why? Because Torah itself is unlimited.
Unless you go to the restroom.
What?
Unless you go to the restroom.
Right, okay, listen. A man's got to do what a man's got to do, so you have to do, we're not talking about that. You're not learning Torah. It says you're not learning Torah, you're not learning Torah. So you're not obligated to learn Torah. It's not always when you're obligated. You got to go to sleep also. You can't learn Torah when you got to go to work. You can't learn Torah either. So the self-understood, there's always a time where you cannot do it. But that's a sad situation.
Part of it.
Right.
That's the mitzvah.
What?
That's the mitzvah part of it that associates it with it.
Right. Correct. So, but there's no time when you need to go to the restroom, right? It's not a kavah. I go to the restroom every day at 7:05. So, so until this point of the Maimah, we have divided the accomplishment of giving the Torah in two distinct stages. The time of the giving of the Torah itself, when the upper and worlds descended to the lower worlds, and the actual performance of the Torah and mitzvahs when the lower worlds ascended to the higher worlds, which happens later. The Rebbe now explains that the second stage begins at the time Matan Torah itself. So this second stage of the Tachtenim Eilu that the lower worlds came up to the higher worlds, this happened at Matan Torah. Not later, but at Matan Torah. So he says, the Rebbe says, even though the descent of the higher worlds and the ascent of the lower worlds are two different concepts. One is the revelation of godliness versus the refinement of the physical, the two different worlds. When you have the concept that God coming to the world is a concept of revelation. That's revelation. God is Oir. God is good, so to say, expression. Toiv, the Eibishter reveals Oir, light in the world. The concept of Aliyas HaTachtenim, the elevation of the lower worlds, is a whole different concept. It's concept of refinement, bitter Hagashmi. It's a whole different world. It's a whole different Aveda. The Aveda of a Yid is a whole different Aveda. It's labor. The Eibishter by God, it's not labor. It's the concept of Oir. Oir is easy. God is easy. world, that the Gashmi now becomes a Ruchni, that takes labor. That takes hard work. That's why the Eibishter understands that God has patience. Because he understands that the work of the world is not an easy job. It's not easy. For him, it's easy to megal himself. Ani Hashem, bingo. The inner of Gili is easy. For even in a Vedas of a Jew, to megal himself, to do something right is easy. To change oneself, birur, is a whole different picture. It's a lifetime. It's a lifetime of work. It doesn't happen that easy. I mean, you could cold turkey quit, Yeah, people do that. Sorry, like you have a smoking addiction. It's sometimes you can do it cold turkey and you just quit. And sometimes if you start to work on it, like if you have losing weight, it's not easy, right? There's 500 million different ways to do it, and everybody's trying. It's avodah. It's gaitnish, and then you lose it, you gain it back. It's not easy. It's not easy. If you're an addict, you'll always be an addict. It's a difficult thing. Really? And we're all addicts, right? If you have a drug addiction, or chashom, you have an alcoholic addiction, you might suffer your whole life. That's why, you have these addictions. These guys, I'm 20 years and 5 days, I haven't seen a cup of mashke in 20 years and 3 days and 5 hours. It's an accomplishment. It's not an accomplishment. It's not so pushing. Imagine, you listen to the guy, he holds himself back. He didn't drink a mashke for 20, so what's the big deal? No, it's if you don't understand. If you had an addiction, it will be hard for you to hold yourself back from that cup of mashke. So it's an avodah. You need a counselor. You need a what do they call the guy? They need a sponsor, and sometimes they have to call him up, and they gotta get it's an avodah. You cannot diminish that.
So how's it different than spiritual addiction?
You're right. We have sometimes a spiritual addiction too. You should never be an addict to anything. You should not be an addict to anything. You should always have free choice. An addiction means you lost your free choice.
What's wrong with
So an addict is a guy who lost his free choice.
You should see you in the meeting.
No, you have to. You have bechira. That's the most important. No. You have to have bechira. You should learn Torah because you want to learn Torah, not because you're addicted to anything. You should have bechira chavshis. Choice. You gave up your choice. You lost you're an addict. And once you're an addict, it's difficult. The truth of tzaddik is an addiction. The once came to the Tzemach Tzedek, and they said to him, a Jew once came to the Tzemach, the Lubavitch Rebbe, said to him, I have a struggle in learning Torah. And he said, I have an addiction. He didn't say an addiction. I have a love to learn Torah. So what is worse? I don't know what I have to learn Torah. You're better. You don't want to learn Torah. It's much easier for you to break yourself. I love to learn Torah. And that's what he said. I have an addiction. I'm an addict. I love learning Torah. I cannot imagine. So that's what the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya. For a tzaddik to love God is much harder because he has a natural love of the Eibishter. So now tell him to love God. What do you mean? You don't have to tell me to love God. I love him. And how can a tzaddik do the mitzvah of loving the Eibishter when he has a natural love of God? So to us, it's easy. We don't have a natural love of God. And now we do a mitzvah. We love God. We do the mitzvah. The Eibush says you should love God. We do the mitzvah. The tzaddik has a natural love of God. Now ask him to do the mitzvah. I don't need to do the mitzvah. I have a love of God. So how do I do a mitzvah that I love it? I have a natural love. We don't understand what that means because we don't have a natural love.
So does he have to?
Imagine there was a mitzvah to eat. Oh, tell me to eat? I love to eat. I need a mitzvah to tell me to eat. If there was no mitzvah, I wouldn't eat. I have to be told to eat. I love to eat.
So the tzaddik has to break up his addiction in order to
Right, he has to.
maintain his free choice?
Right, he has to work hard at that. That's what Alter Rebbe says. That you don't realize that tzaddik, that's his avodah. His avodah is in godliness. Our avodah is in breaking our physical taivas. His avodah is to break his spiritual taivas.
How do you do that?
It's a hard avodah. To find a situation that I'm doing it not because I'm naturally love the Eibush, because I want to love the Eibush. That's what the Alter Rebbe said before David. He would say, I don't want your Gan Eden. I'm not doing your avodah because I want Gan Eden. Because I love you. I want you. That is a higher avodah. Because even to tzaddik, you is l'mayla mizman ha'makom. The concept of Gan Eden, they see the Gan Eden, they see the neshama. The tzaddik sees all this. So that's why it's a natural kind of a situation. Imagine if you saw Gan Eden and you saw your neshama, you would have a natural love to it. We don't see it. That's why we don't have a natural love to it. That's it. But the tzaddik sees it natural. So the tzaddik has to say, I don't want that. I'm finished. I don't want the Gan Eden. Imagine you see Gan Eden and you say, I don't want the Gan Eden. Because the tzaddik says, I want the Eibishter. And that's high. That's the avodah. With our avodah is, that's why to us, oh, Gan Eden, we're going to get a Gan Eden, we're going to go to Gehenna, we're going to sugar man. Like, it would drive us crazy with this Gan Eden and Gehenna business. It's so ridiculous. Everybody's either they're worried or they're happy or they're worried or they're happy. We're going to Gan Eden, we're going to Gehenna. Oh, you can go with sugar. And that's all. Like I say, the whole concept is for something else. So we work for something else. We're all working for something else. And that's the problem with us. We're never happy. It's about something else. We even do it. Oh, we're going to Gan Eden. What about right now? No, I'm going to Gan Eden. Oh, I better not do it. I'm going to get Gehenna. So it has nothing to do with now. It has to do with the Vita. That's life in general. Most of our lives are struggling. Why? Because it's not about the situation. It's about something else. We work to have this. We do that to have that. What about having this? No, we're never happy with this. We're doing this for that. We're doing everything for something else. What about doing something for itself? No, nobody's doing anything for itself. Everything we're doing is for something else. We're doing even Torah mitzvahs for Gan Eden.
Because this is not the end line.
This is the end line right now. There's a avodah right now. There's a service of right now. What is right now? There's nothing right now. Right now it's a waste of time. Right now is nothing. It's all about later. That means that you push it. Now is nothing. It's all about later. I don't know what's later. I don't know where, but there has to be a avodah of now. There has to be the avodah of now. What about now?
We are now in Gan Eden.
Right. You're right now in Gan Eden. 100%. And you're right now doing the avodah of the Eibishter. That's the problem. When we're only thinking about, when we're thinking about Gan Eden, again, we're thinking about ourselves. Where am I going to go? That's my whole service is where am I going to go, where I'm not going to go. What about God? We forgot about God. He's not important in this whole picture. The Eibush is not important. God's not important. It's all about me. I'm going to go to Gan Eden, not going to go to Gan Eden. Who cares?
Hashem cares.
No, but Hashem, as much as he cares about your Gan Eden, he cares about now. That's why he created you now. The Eibush created now for later. God created now what's going to happen in 100 years from now. Oh, I mean, the 100 years is not important. What's going to happen after the 100 years is important. What about now?
But this life is the prosdor. So.
But now this process is important. Is this process not important?
Okay.
That's it. So what about the process? Nothing. Forget about the process. It's a waste of time. It's all about later. So now basically is nothing. That's crazy. There's got to be about the now. Right? And the now is important. That's why God, why to be the shmasi? Why should I be shmasi? I don't know. I want to go to Gan Eden. Right now, I think I'm good. Let me get to Gan Eden. You never know. It's going to be tomorrow. Right? And maybe I shouldn't have it tomorrow because right now is great. Tomorrow I might do an Aveda. That's the one of Pshuta. When Beishamai says, Tov shalei nevresi. It's better a person not born. Even the Hillel says it's better not born. Why? Because if it's all about Gan Eden, maybe before you came down to the world, you were in a better Gan Eden. Now you came down to the world, you messed it up. So you came down to the world to go to Gan Eden. Maybe when you came down to the world, you're going to go down to a lower Gan Eden. So what is it worth? It's a losing game. If it's all about Gan Eden, it's better you shouldn't have lived. Your neshama was in level A, and now through coming down to the world, it went to level B. So what, is that worth it?
No.
It would have been better you weren't created. You would have stayed in level A.
So what's the answer?
The answer is because the Eibush needs you in this world now. What mitzvah you're going to do is to God is important to this world. Maybe not so important to you, but I created you. Right? So to me, it's important that the mitzvah you're going to do today. And that's why it says one mitzvah in this world is better than 1,000 years in Gan Eden. Why? Because you have to think about God. If you think about you or me, you're right. If I'm thinking about me, it's all about Gan Eden, so I should have stayed in Gan Eden. I should have never come down. But the Eibishter brought me down to the world because he wants I should do that one mitzvah. And maybe not one mitzvah, 1,000 mitzvahs. Because you think about God. Now you think, that's what the Mishnah says. It's better one mitzvah in this world than 1,000 years in the world to come. There's better one delight in the world to come than 1,000 years in this world. So what's delight? Again, delight is about me, my delight. What about the Eibishter? So that's it. To the Eibishter, it's better one mitzvah in this world than 1,000 years in the world to come. My delight? Yeah, it's better my delight than Gan Eden. If we were thinking about delight, if I came down to the world for delight, if I came down to the world for my pleasure, Gan Eden is much more pleasurable. You shouldn't have come down. You should have stayed in Gan Eden. You would have had much more pleasure there. And there's much more pleasure. One pleasure in the world in Gan Eden is more than 1,000 years of pleasure in this world. You wasted your time.
But we didn't want him to come.
Right, because the Eibush is saying, then you have to think about God. You have to think about God. So that's why you have to stop for a moment and say, why did the Eibush? I didn't come down by karcha. I came down to the world against my will. So there has to be a reason, not for myself. There's got to be a godly reason. So what's the godly reason? What did God want me in the world for? For me? No, he wanted me in the world for him. Ani loy nevresi ella l'Shabbos. You heard my thing on Shabbos I said? Ani loy, it's a powerful concept. Ani loy nevresi ella l'Shabbos es kaini. You got that word I said? It's not my voice, it's the Rebbe's word. Ani loy nevresi. It's not ani nevresi. I was created. And now I gotta find to serve my creator. Ani loy nevresi. I was not created. Ella l'Shabbos es kaini. Right? I was not created. There's no purpose in my creation but to serve the Eibishter. That has to be the focus of the Yid. Not that he was created and let him find God. He was only created for God. He was not created for anything but to find the Eibishter. There's not everything else is secondary. Working and everything is all secondary to the purpose of my creation.
So you're not a good lawyer?
No, it changes the whole concept of the way. Well, there's a guy in India who's suing his parents that he was born against his will. The chutzpah that he gave birth. Right, so that's Mishagoyim. You have Mishagoyim always in the world, Baruch Hashem. And you have to think, that's a whole different way of thinking. Siddur change the way of a thought, the way you think about things. It's a whole different way of thinking. So the concept that you have to think about God. Now that's an easy thing for us. See, that's again, I'm trying to tell you, the Alter Rebbe says, for us to think about God and a tzaddik to think about God is two different realities. Because tzaddik has a natural love of God. Tzaddik has gili. It's a natural thing to think of it. Us, we don't have that gili, and that's why to us to do the mitzvah to think of the Eibishter is much easier, in a way. That's why when Mashiach comes, the prophet says, Oit Hashem can after be, that we're going to say, we missed a dime of Gullus. Because in the Gullus, we overcame things. When Mashiach comes, this Gilui, we'll all be marching to the order. We'll all be marching to the band. Why? Because you'll have Gilui L'kus. How are you going to be able to say no? How are you going to be able to not run to it? How are you going to be able to not run to the mitzvah? So when the Mishnah says a Ratzal mitzvah, now we say, how can you run to mitzvah? It's a burden. Who's running to a mitzvah? But when you see the Gili, imagine if you saw the Gili L'kus in the mitzvah, you would all run to the mitzvah. We'll all run to the mitzvah. Right? So that's why Lamaila, think about it, when a person, a Shama, leaves a body, he's running Lamaila. He's running because he's his Gilil Kus. So he forgets about this world. He's running Lamaila. Forgets about it. He forgets about it. Why does he forget about it? Because he's so, the oil, the light, the ruchni is so powerful, he forgets about chizbah. Who cares about this? He realizes it was a waste of time. The beauty of the gili is so sweet and so delightful. Who cares about? It's nothing. You think that having steak is delightful? This is much more delightful. It's much more unbelievable.